Sanibona ingane zakwethu umakhanya lo bathu buntu mabande bakwethu bathu buntu umphako ongaboli. South Africa is under attack, a very serious one. Abelungu they are operating a second time systematically okwamanje. Abasenzi lento yokuthi babengena besha abantu ezindlini babathola belele bakhanyise ngelight bebashaye bakhiphe behambe nabo bangazi ukuthi bayini mabesithola estradini beshaye bamanye donke bere bashaye abafuna badubula bebadubule freely ayisekho leyo apartheid le iapartheid esekhona manje noma operation esikhona manje it's systematic. That's the worst operation ever indlula leya yalabo bakade beshawo eyaliwa uSteve Biko nabantwana bango-1976. So I'm trying to say we are very, very in a serious under attack. I-West ifuna South Africa nama-minerals wakhona ngenye indlela desperate. Why? Abasakhona ukumayina eBurkina Faso. Their economy is crumbling. You understand? Yakhumbula ukuthi baguqiswe eChina ngendaba zama-trade. Bagcine bakhosoza abancane. So sekuselela ama-country abawabhulishayo njengabo South Africa nalawa amanye asaba ukuyimela. Nathi we are included because siyasaba ukuma against the system. Siyasaba. Tina, we are the new generation that is very scared of standing against the system. We are very, very scared. And now the problem with us, we are being flooded with the youth that is well educated and very, very educated. And in terms of that youth that is educated, they can't think properly. I'm sorry for those that can think. I'm so sorry. But most of those youth that we are having now, we have a serious crisis of the youth that is educated and is well programmed to stand still, not to fight and claim their country. Namanje basase university abanye, they are being programmed how to relax when the system is operating. That is why I'm saying we are under attack. But this, what I'm saying now, you are not ready to understand and listen to it. And you are not ready for this topic. Why? Because you are under the system. I said to my previous video, that's the system that is well programmed to choose who must lead, they choose everything for us. Right now we are being told by the White House, bazosikethela manje basitshela ukuthi asenze kungekho constitution eyabhalwa amasela abelungu ala eSouth Africa. Bazositshela ukuthi umhlaba singawuthinti, we must move away from the land, we must move away from everything that is economically. Batshela thina labelungu abayi4 from the White House, which means South Africa is being controlled outside the White House. They bazikhethela bakhipha imali banikeze everyone to disrupt progress abantu abamnyama ukuthi baqala amaqembu kube maqembu amasha amaningi angapheli la eSouth Africa kuba nje into abagudi labelungu kuyenza ukukhipha imali befunda ama political party kuyimpihla kuma political alikho nama political party amaningi in the world njenge South Africa. Why? We are under attack. Ushuthi labelunga babona ukuthi ngesikhathi bekhipha imali benika EFF achieve ngade beyithume khona abade ngesikhathi benika imali benikeza UDM ukuthi I destroy ANC abakuachieve lokho ngesikhathi bekhipha imali benikeza iCOP ukuthi iCOP I disrupt iANC abakwina ngalo. They don't get tired to oppress a black child labelungu. So njamanje ukuze babone baphuma public bayazi ukuthi the one that we are programming there in South Africa, they won't wake up like njenge Kenya yenza manje. They won't wake up njenge Burkina Faso yenzile, njengoba imali yenzile njengoba iNiger yenzile. Sino SG namhlanje okhona ukusukuma athi iBurkina Faso yahlanya ngokukhulula abantu bakubo, yahlanya kusho SG weANC athi ayicondemn into eyenziwa yilokhu njani uIbrahim Traore ukukhulula abantu bakuba develop izwe lakhe ukuthi axebule izwe lakhe against the system. Ukhona SG weANC ozosho lokho wakusho uMalemathi military coup kufanele condemn because akusintando yabantu. asiyifuni intando yabantu, Julius Malema. To address you very quick, asiyifuni because buka isenzani thina. High-end unemployment is well programmed. Everything is well programmed. That is why I'm saying, abantu bamkhonto wesizwe, whoever that is MK party member and those that are in parliament, they must not sleep on duty. They must not be a sleepist. Because whenever South Africans decide to stand or fight against the system, you will be included because you've been chosen to go and fight. And then you decided to sleep with the enemy in parliament. Nizizwa kanjani ukuthi kube khona uma bethu abantu lungisana indaba ye crisis yabo dokotela bangasebenzi eSouth Africa, namanje leyo ndaba ayilungisiwe. Indaba kaMakhathe ye Vodacom ayilungisiwe. Why? Akukho enikachievile njengomkhonto wesizwe. Namanje le ndaba yalamabhunu akhona ukusitshela ukuthi iconstitution yethu ufuna irane kanjani favorable in public. No one is going to address it. No one is going to do anything. They're going to say, no, it's our investors, so they have a right to tell us how to live, how to continue with our lives. Let's operate in Jan. They're going to say that I'm investors. Because everything that is wrong, everything that is a system in South Africa, I'm investors. Every operation ya namhlanje, South Africa ibizwa ngokuthi i-investor. I-operation that the system is under operation ibizwa ngokuthi invest igama lakhona. Abathi in market babiza nje ukuthi ama-invest. So we are in a serious crisis in South Africa, of whereby South Africa becomes the #1 country that is scared of the oppression, that is scared of the system, that is scared of the white man. Isindlulwe na iBurkina Faso izilincane. Naye Kenya igcwele istrati namhlanje ilwa nesystem. Ba uzobezwa abantu beANC nabantu beEFF bethi ku wrong lokho kwenziwa eKenya. Ukuthatha ukuthi abantu bathatha izwe labo. Kufanele bakhosoze sitheni. Lalela istatement zabo thula uzoza wena. Bazothi ku wrong lokho kwenziwa yilokho njani eKenya. Kenya, we applaud what you are doing. Continue more until the system leaves your country. Let South Africa suffer more and more and more until they decide to chase out the system. So we are saying we are under attack. South Africa must rise and stand against the system and call out all the politicians that are delaying or that are gatekeepers.
In 1913, there was never a negotiation with the black people when they lost their land. Today, you are using negotiation. Where did you get it from? You know what you should have done? You should have used the same law, force removal. This time you force Rupert and open him and then return the land. But you can't use Roman, Dutch and British law to do that unless you are a subject of Roman and Dutch and British. Then you will use that. But there was no negotiation here. So then you will fail in your mission because you are applying wrong laws, wrong interventions. Take the land if it means, but you don't have to report to Britain and Dutch and Romans. Come to us as natives. We are still there as warm bodies. You may have destroyed the Amakosi structures as an institution of governance, but we still exist as warm bodies. So it means we can restore and reconstruct Amakosi's governance system. First Minister and the department, please tell South Africans, are we still a British colony or a Roman colony or a Dutch colony? The reason is this one. Your source documents which you use to restore and reform this land, where are you getting them from? Or what are they saying? Because I will give you mine when we talk about land reform. This is all part of strategy. I'm using the 1905 first census a document of South Africa, which is followed by the native tribes of Transvaal, followed by the native tribes of Natal, followed by the native tribes of Cape Colony. So those are my source documents. Now, the first question I'm asking is going to tell you whether are you coming towards our directions as those who were dispossessed of the land, or you going to the direction of the British and the Romans and the Dutch. And the history will tell us. I'm saying this because in 1913, this land was not packaged according to Roman, Dutch and British law. It was packaged according to native law. And though it was taken not from the current occupants, but was taken from Amakhosi. Amakhosi who constitute the communities. Today, this department has only Ingonyama Trust as the only entity which it calls their entity. Do you know that you were supposed to also have similar entities in the other 8 provinces? Let alone that you erase that history. But I'm giving you source document, which you should be using to restore the land. But moving forward, then when I look at the issue of economy, the land is economics. 92% are black people. 8% are white people. White people are still sitting at 87% today from 1913. Black people are sitting at 18% and even less by now because they are even buying the last remaining bits and pieces which blacks are occupying. And who is buying them? Rupert and Oppenheimer. My source document, where do I get that from? I get it from the book called South Africa Incorporated, Oppenheimer Empire, which means South Africa is packaged as a close corporation of Mr. Rupert and Oppenheimer, and is their empire. Here we are as Amakhosi and black community thinking that we are the natives of this land, but there is a white man, too, who occupy the highest echelon of the South African economy. Where in this land, we are actually not taking it from government, it is in their hands, packaged as private property. At which stage was it packaged as a private property? When it was taken from us. And I've just noticed in your document, the entire departmental strategy, if you're using 1913 as your basis, how did you miss Amakhosi in that equation? Amakhosi are no longer reflecting in your strategy, are no longer reflecting here as people that you are restoring the land to. What you've done, you have repackaged the land of Amakhosi into community property association, but carefully leaving Amakhosi out of those community property association, which means indirectly you are destroying the institution of Amakhosi, but you have time to develop community property association, but you don't have time to restore Amakhosi's land. Now, when you think that you will then achieve this by 2029, let me tell you here, I will be there in 2029. You won't achieve this thing. Everything that you're going to do there. Why? Because the very government that is seeking to restore this land is not even in control of the economy. So you then have to get permission from Rupert and Oppenheimer whether he can allocate money into the state so that you render your function. Because you don't control the economy, so you won't even grow it. Because for you to grow it, you must own it. And whoever owns it is the one who must grow it. And in this case, which means we must talk to Mr. Rupert and Oppenheimer to grow us the economy so that we can all have access to economy. Because there is no growth. How can you grow something that you don't have? Let me say, the idea that says you must stop supporting the blacks, you can't forever babysit them. Let me balance it by saying, then you must also say to Mr. Rupert and Oppenheimer, he must return those lands pockets that he took, so that at least we can be self-sufficient, because the lands that we're talking about are not the arable, non-viable land we're talking about. Where we are sitting in rocky, thorny areas as blacks. The fertile grounds are all in the white hands. And you know what they have done? They have done cross-directorship across. By 2007, 500,000 companies were registered at CIPRO. And 99.9% of those are belonging to them. So it means that they're actually controlling this economy. Now, I said strategy. That's why I made it clear. I'm focusing on your strategy. You said 2025 to 2029, and that's where I am. So I'm saying to you, none of this will be achieved until you should have come here, give us, disaggregate the picture. Where are we sitting now? We're at 38% 13% in 1913. We are still at 13% in 2025. Over 112 years. Then which means we're not moving. But the reason why we're not moving is because the laws you are using, you use the same laws that were used to dispossess, and you think you can then restore and reform. And it turns out you can't, because as you carry file of the budget, that money which could be doing restoration, it is being made by these gentlemen. They are making that money on daily basis, but they are not redirecting it to the state. No wonder then the land reform process is not going to be achieved. So I'm saying, can you then restore your strategy back to Amakosi? Because I do have a document which points out which tribe was sitting at which town. But you guys are no longer focusing on that.